we're live. Good afternoon from the beautiful state of Kansas. Thank you so much for joining us for today's live class, Ukulele 101, here from Second Music Studio. I hope you're doing okay, and hope you're hanging in with everything that's going on right now. It is getting hot again here in Kansas, so I've reverted back to wearing my shorts today for work. So happy to have you join us today. I want to get some things kind of set up here. And if you see me glancing over the side, I'm actually looking at my iPad so I can check the stream, make sure everything's going okay, but it looks fine. So we're live, and welcome to Ukulele 101, this beginner ukulele class that we're going to be holding today. This is just going to be about a 1-hour class that goes over the basics of holding the instrument, playing, learning how to read chords, and we're going to play 4 songs, including Mary Had a Little Lamb, London Bridge, Twinkle Little Star, and Row Your Boat here at the end. If you are wanting to play along and join us, in the description below on your device, you can click into that Google Drive link that takes you to the PDF that we're going to follow along, or you can just follow along here on screen and then download the packet later on. Once we get done with the class, we are going to go through and kind of talk about some of our upcoming ukulele events as well here at Second Music Studio. And how you can get in with some lessons here as well. So again, happy to have you join us and welcome on into the class. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to be using my concert ukulele here. This is a Waterman by Kala. It's a hard plastic one, and I've just drawn this design on here. So this is standard tuning GCEA, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. Give me a brief second here. Cool. All right. So just wanted to check my mic. Again, this is brand new for me. I am using, there it is. I'm using the Melon app to stream. So I'm still kind of getting used to it and everything. So last week I mentioned in our Instagram AMA, we also went live on Facebook, that we're going to be going live weekly now. So every other week, we are going to be going to Ask Me Anything on Instagram Live, and then I actually believe next week we'll be going live on Facebook. We're just going to be doing kind of a live composer chat. We're going to be doing some composing live for you, and you can talk with me about like composing and things like that. So let's go ahead. Let's get started today with the class. Oh, let me actually pull the screen up here. There we go. And I'm going to do a little adjust. There we go. That way you can see me and the screen here. So today what we're going to be looking at, again, parts of the ukulele, what all makes the ukulele. We're going to talk about fingers and strumming, kind of get you started actually playing the instrument. We're going to talk about reading chords as well, those little boxes that sometimes you'll see on sheet music. And then we're actually going to be playing some music, like I said, Mary, Row, London Bridge, and Twinkle Little Star. If we do have time at the end, again, this class is going to be about 50 minutes. We will pull out some additional music to play. I will have to dig for that book, but it'll come up here pretty shortly. So let's go over the parts of the ukulele. I'm going to bring mine up here. I'm going to rest it just like this. That way you can see mine and you can see what we're looking at as well. So we're going to start off with the top part here. And in fact, can you see my mouse? You can see my mouse. Cool. All right, a little delay there. I should have tested this first, but that's okay. So right here, this big part is the head. So that's the head right here, this big part of my ukulele. Then if you could see that right there, a little part that's jutting out, that's the neck. So that's, or the nut of the ukulele, excuse me. So the nut, and then this part that sticks up over here, the bridge, those are the two parts that hold the strings up over what we call the frets. So the frets right here, those are those silver bars. Okay, and what the frets do, they help us with finger placement. So that way we know where to place our fingers to form certain chords and then make sure that they sound correct. The frets and then the big part of the strings, most part of the strings, are right here on what we call the neck. So think of your head, your neck. Ukulele also has your head and a neck right there as well. Then we're going to come down here. This big part is called the body. So this is a traditional kind of folk shaped body. I'm trying to remember the name of it, but it's slipping me now. But there's different shapes of bodies. So there's pineapples, there's cigar box, there's I've seen triangles, I've seen circles as well. So this is the traditional folk music body shape right there. This big part right here, the sound hole. So how the sound works, how the sound hole works. As we strum, now traditionally we'll strum here closer to the fretboard, but the sound will go inside the sound hole. The body's hollow. It'll bounce around the entire body and then shoot back out of the sound hole. And that's how the sound is produced. And then I accidentally skipped this one right here, the tuning pegs. So the tuning pegs help us turn the strings, kind of tighten or loosen the strings based on what we need to hear in the music as well. And make sure that our ukulele is in tune. Also forgot to say, if you're watching this live, I see a couple viewers here. If you do have any questions throughout, please feel free to throw them into the chat, and I will be checking to make sure we don't miss any questions or anything like that. But at any time, do feel free to throw those in the chat as well. And if you're watching the replay, you could type #replay and then answer your question in the comments, and I'll be sure to answer them there as well, because I forgot to send this over to Facebook. In fact, let me go ahead and do that right now. We're going to take a real quick pause. We're going to get this done, because I know there's some people who would want to watch this. So 2 seconds here. We're going to share this, copy the link. I'm still here, I promise. All right. Get this shared over to our Facebook page. That way people know that we're here. Let's go. And in case you're wondering, I do talk to myself a lot, especially while I'm thinking out loud. Okay, publish. All right, getting that posted. Again, I should have done this already, but oops, it is what it is. Okay. Well, there it is. All right, we're golden now. Okay, I want to switch back over to YouTube. Make sure that gets popped up. Nope, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. There we go. Okay, we're good. Everything's good now. All right. We're going to come back over here, show the stream again, show the slideshow here, what I meant to say. Okie dokie. Oh, I need to change that again too. All right. Learning curve here. That's okay. All right. So we've talked about the different parts of the body here. Everything's shared to Facebook, so we might get a couple more viewers here. So let's talk about, next part is going to be tuning the ukulele. So the different strings have different pegs that they follow. So one way that you can figure out which strings go up is by tracing your hand and then following them upward. Let's see here. Something happened with my live feed. We're just going to double check that. Nope, we're good. Okay. Must have been just my device. Okay. What you could do, you could trace the string on up, or once you learn the order of the strings, you can just follow where they are, where the tuning pegs are here. So the order of the strings, we've got 2 sayings that we can think of. So first one is good cooks eat a lot. So if we're looking at our ukulele like this, head on, we go from left to right. So good cooks eat a lot. So that's the order of them. Another one that I came up with a couple of years ago, which got some ladies pretty excited about. George Clooney's Everly Attractive. George Clooney's Everly Attractive. Because the man doesn't seem to age. So on here, how we follow the tuning pegs. So on this diagram here, we show where the strings are in relation to their tuning pegs. We would actually start down here on the bottom left and work our way around in a horseshoe shape. So start here. You'd start here with your G, and then you'd go G, C, come around here to the right side, E, A. Good cooks eat a lot. So I'm going to distune my ukulele a little bit. So if we need our string to go higher, so that's tuning down, and I can do this by ear. So if we want it to go higher, we're going to turn the peg away from us. So on the left side here, away from us if we want it to go higher. Then on the right side, I don't think I distuned it enough, but over here on the right side, our E and our A, if we want it to go higher, we would turn the peg toward us. So I'm going to loosen that A string up. So we turn that toward us to go higher. If we want it to go lower, we turn it away from us. Left side, if we want it to go lower, we turn it toward us. So they're flipped around on the right and left side. So whatever you do on the left side, you have to do the opposite on the right side there. So again, G, C, E, A, come around in a horseshoe shape. Good cooks eat a lot. Okay. You can also get, and mine's in the guitar room right now, but you could get a tuner, a clip-on tuner here. You could also use a piano. You could also use a tuning app and things like that. I'm just going to put my camera down a little bit. All right, so let's talk about holding the ukulele. So this might look a little different. So you want to hold, if you've ever played guitar, it's going to be held about the same way. Now, if you are right-handed, your ukulele, so this is my left side over here, you're going to turn the ukulele over to your left side, just like that. Okay, so because we want our G string up. So let me change the view here. Okay, so on here, I'm holding my ukulele just like this. So again, towards my left, with my G string on top, my A string down there on the bottom. So we want to kind of hold this also up at a 45-degree angle. That way our left hand here, which is going to be forming the chords, we can bolster that up a little bit and just hold it up just like that. That way it's kind of comfortable. It's got a slight curve to it, and we're not like reaching down like that and things like that. Now, you can go a little bit higher than a 45-degree angle. I have some colleagues and some friends who teach going a little bit higher just for comfort, but standard is about 45-degree angle right there. So finding that 45-degree angle, have the neck and the head facing out parallel to the floor, and then have it point up like that at about 90 degrees, and then find the happy medium about right there. Now, again, it doesn't have to be exactly 45 degrees, but that's what helps there. All right, so let's come back in here. The next part, the back of the ukulele, is going to go on your belly here. So back goes on your belly. Again, we talked about head tilting up at about a 45-degree angle. Your left thumb is placed on the neck. So let me scoosh around right here. And again, I'm going to come back over here and kind of look. Okay, so what we want, I'm going to change the view one more time. Can I do that? I can do that. Sweet. So we want the left thumb to be loosely placed on the neck. That way we can kind of slide up and down just like that. Slide up and down just as we need to, like that. Then last but not least, our right hand is just going to be kind of holding, kind of carrying the body a little bit. Now, this is how I hold mine in the curve right here of the body. I just kind of hold it and then let my thumb rest on the strings just like that. So that's about holding the ukulele. This way, you're not just holding it with the left hand, and then it can fall like that. So that's why I hold, I kind of cradle it like that. So let's go ahead, let's move on. Again, if you're joining us, do feel free to, in the chat, let us know if you have any questions that you'd like answered live. And if you're watching the replay, you can certainly drop those into the comments, and I'll be sure to answer those after a while. So now we just talked about our thumb. We're going to move on to our other fingers here. So on our left finger, or our left hand, excuse me, we're going to give these 4 fingers a number and then this one a letter. So T, because thumb doesn't really play a lot with your left hand, we're going to label that T. So T is going to go, again, back on the neck. Then we label the fingers as they go from thumb, or from the pointer to the pinky. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So index is 1, middle is 2, ring is 3, and the pinky is 4. Now, today we're not going to use the pinky. We're going to use up to finger 3, but not the pinky. Some chords do require the pinky, though, and that'll be more of your advanced chords. If you do end up taking lessons from us or another teacher, that's something that you could certainly get into later on there. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's start talking about. Let's put those fingers to use. We're going to start talking about reading chords because the next step that we're going to do is actually read some of the chords that we're going to play in these songs here. So the first chord that we're going to take a look at here is going to be our C, and this will come up in the next slide. But here's how we read the chords. Now, this will look different based off of who you're looking at or what music you're reading. So we're going to start off on top with the chord name. So the name will mostly have a letter, either a capitals, maybe it might have a lowercase letter. It may also have two letters, like an M to designate whether it sounds major or happy sounding chord, or a lowercase m for a minor sounding chord. And sometimes they may have numbers, like we'll get into what's called the G7 chord. It's 7 chords are mostly used in jazz. And so that kind of comes up in music a lot as well. So you'll see 7, sometimes you'll see 6, and all sorts of those numbers. Next, so the box right here is going to look a lot like your fretboard. So the top of the neck and your fretboard here. So on here, the thick line at the top of the chord is actually your nut. So again, this is a picture of like the first 4 frets. The up and down lines, let's see here, what's next? The side to side lines. Side to side lines are your frets. It actually says that right there. I could just read my own slide there. Those are the frets. So those are the silver bars right here. Again, that kind of shows us where we're going to put our fingers. And then the up and down lines, the vertical lines, that's the one I was thinking of. The vertical lines are the strings. And then finally, that should be down a little bit. This number right here that has the circle on it, those are our fingers. Now, some chords will have your finger numbers in them. Sometimes they won't, because for some, it's more comfortable to use alternate fingerings on chords, and that's totally fine. Because this chord right here, which is what we call the C chord, I can play it like this, this, this. I've even played it with my pinky before. So it's totally fine that you use different fingerings for your chords there, as long as it's comfortable. Now, I'm going to come back with that and say you should learn the proper fingerings first, and then you can play with alternate fingerings later on. But again, from top to bottom here, we've got the chord name. Again, it may be a mix of letters and numbers. You got your nut up here, and you've got your frets, side to side lines. And then you got your up and down, your vertical lines. Those are your strings. On the chord box here, it's exactly like as if you're looking at it. So your string on the left, right here would be G, C, E, and then last but not least, A. So this C chord, we would place finger 3 on the A string. Now, we'll also tell you what the frets are. So we literally number the frets, starting with the 1 here on top between the first fret bar and the nut, so that'd be fret 1. And then between the second 2 fret bars, that's 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth, going all the way down the body. Okay, now if you're watching and if you're confused or you're like, hey, what's going on? Again, do feel free to drop your questions in the chat over there, and I'm monitoring over here on my iPad and just making sure that we've got your questions answered. And again, you can answer questions on the replay as well. So now let's start getting into reading some of these chords here. I'm going to go ahead. That's not what I want. Nope. I want to see if I can zoom in just a little bit more. Okay, that should work. All right. So we're going to start off again with our C chord. Now the C chord, we consider this to be finger 3 on the 3rd fret of the A string. So finger 3, your ring finger, on the A string, and we're going to count 1, 2, 3. So this is what I consider 3 on 3. So finger 3 on the 3rd fret of the A string. Now, we haven't talked about strumming yet. There's 2 different types of strumming. Actually, it looks like I skipped it, so we're going to come back up here. So the right hand will strum. Since you're forming chords with your left hand, the right hand will strum. You can either use your thumb, and what I do, I use this side of my thumb right here, kind of in between the nail and the pad. Kind of brings out that tone. You can also use your pointer finger. So again, I use that same side of the pointer finger, kind of between the pad and the nail. You can also use your fingernail. I've even had some beginners go like this. Let me switch the view for y'all. So I've had some beginners just do what we call just a normal finger strum. I haven't mastered yet, and that's totally fine. So those are different ways that you can strum. You can also use a pick. There are certain ukulele picks. Now, I will beg of you, don't use a guitar pick when you're strumming with your ukulele. And the reason why is because guitar picks are normally stronger because the guitar strings are stronger. If you use a hard guitar pick on a ukulele, it'll most likely break the strings because the strings on a ukulele are made of nylon, soft plastic. So it won't take the tension from guitar pick. Now, there are softer ukulele picks that are made of different materials. I've even made ukulele picks out of laminated cardstock that work just fine. And I can show that to you later on here, just a second. Let's go ahead and keep rolling right along here. So we're gonna go back to our chords. So I'm gonna be strumming with my thumb here. So that's what the C chord's gonna sound like. So again, you're gonna take 3 on 3, third finger, 3rd fret of the A string. And you're just gonna strum down just like that. Okay, and you can join me when you're ready. All right, so the next one we're gonna take a look at is the F chord. Looks like my stream stopped. Nope, it didn't. We're good. Just checking the live view, and it's totally fine. So the F chord, this is what we're going to use fingers 1 and finger 2. I call this a bunny finger chord because when you're taking a picture of friends and you give them bunny ears, those are the 2 fingers that you use. So again, bunny fingers right there. Point your finger. Finger number 1 is going to go on the 1st fret of the E string. So A, E. Okay. Then your 2nd finger, your middle finger, is going to go on the 2nd fret of the G string. So 1st fret, 2nd fret. Again, the G string, when you're holding it like this, is the one that's closest to your head. So that's what our F chord will sound like. Again, I'm strumming with my thumb. So I'll have you join along with me as you're comfortable. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to actually kind of skosh ahead a little bit. We're going to look at both the G and the G7. Now, this is where that 7th chord comes in that I was talking about. This does kind of have a jazz sound. I'm going to play both of them for you real quick, just so you can take a listen to them. So here's the G chord. Here's the G7. So you can hear there's just one note that's slightly different. So what's happening here on the E string, we go from G, which will actually end up when we play the normal G chord, this one right here. Those 2 strings will sound the same. When we play the F chord, or the G7 chord, excuse me, we change this string. So what's happening when we put our fingers down on the strings actually changes the note. So we know this is E. When I put my finger there for the G chord, I guess that should be that one, turns E into G. So that's why those 2 sound the same. Then when we play the G7 chord, that changes the E string to F. Which almost sounds like chopsticks a little bit there. Okay? So that's what's happening when we put our fingers down on the strings. Okay? So here's how we form the G chord. I call both of the G chord and the G7 chord sandwich chords. So we're going to start off with our bunny fingers again. We're going to start off with the pointer finger. It's going to go on the C string, 2nd fret. 2nd finger is going to go on the A string. So A string is going to be the one that's closer to your toes. Okay, and your finger is going to go there on finger 2, or on the A string, fret 2. 3rd finger, then this is why I call it a sandwich, because we're skipping the E string. The 3rd finger is going to sandwich on that E string on the 3rd fret. So you can think 3 on 3 on that one, except it's on the E string. Okay, then we're going to strum again for that one. So you can join me when you're comfortable. And again, do feel free to put your questions in the chat box over there, so that way I can answer them live. Now, we're going to pause that. We're going to go to the G7 chord. G7 chord is going to be a little different. So we're going to start with our bunny fingers again, except we're going to put our finger 1 kind of the same place. So this is almost going to look like the F chord. Okay, so finger 1's going to go on the E string, 1st fret. Second finger is going to go up 1 string. So instead of 2 strings on the G string, we're going to go on the C string. Then to do this, we kind of need to rotate our wrist up a little bit. Okay, because if we're doing that, that'll kind of crush, and we're going to climb. We're going to kind of crumble into ourselves. We want to kind of lift up, kind of lift our wing a little bit. Okay, then that way it's a little bit more comfortable for us to play that. Place that 3rd finger there on the 2nd fret of the A string. Okay, so one more time, it's finger 1 on the 1st fret of the E string, finger 2 on the 2nd fret of the C string. Lift that hand, lift the whole arm. 3rd finger goes on the A string, 2nd fret. Now, the reason why we would actually prefer, because a lot of people do prefer to play G7 chords, especially in the songs that we're about ready to play, because here's why. If you notice, finger 1 is in the same place for the F chord and the G7 chord. Then 2 is 1 finger away, and then we just add the 3rd finger. So instead of going like this and having to lift all of our fingers off, we do this. I call this a pivot chord. So here's the F. So all I have to do is move 1, add 1. And I kind of swing my pointer a little bit. So one more time, here's the F. Here comes the G7. So we're going to practice that. What we're going to do real quick before we move on to the next chord, which is going to be our last chord that we learn. This is going to be, we're going to go C, F, G. So this is what we call a chord progression. So when we move from chord to chord, we call that a chord progression. So what we're going to do, we're going to do 8 strums of each of these chords and then loop it. So we're actually going to start with just the C and the F. So this combination, sometimes I refer to it as our Chick-fil-A chord combination. So again, we're going to go 8 strums on the C chord and then 8 strums on the F chord, switch back and forth. So we're going to go a little slow. About 1, 2. Here we go on C, 3 on 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Switch to F, 1 on E, 2 on G, 5, 6. Switch back to C. Ready, go. Join me when you're comfortable. 5, 6, 7. Back to F. Go. F. 6, 7. Back to C. C. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Back to F. Go. F. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll pause right there. Okay. So now, sometimes to help us out, we're going to go back and forth between the C and the G chord now. Okay. So we've flipped back and forth between C and F. Now we're going to go C and G. So again, C is 3 on 3, 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the A string. A string is closest to your toes. The G chord is going to be our sandwich chord. So bunny fingers, bunny ears, pointer finger on the 2nd fret of the C string, middle finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, sandwich finger 3 on the 3rd fret of the E string. Okay. Now, this may take a little bit of time to switch back and forth. So what you'll want to do, if we're going 8, you might want to drop out at around 6, 5, 6. Get those fingers ready. Go. 2, 3, 4. I want to continue my 8 strums though. So join me when you're comfortable. We're going to switch back to C. Go. 3 on 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Switch to G. Go. G. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Back to C and go. 5, 6, 7. Back to G. 5, 6, 7. And we'll pause right there. Now, we're going to go add in the G7 now. This time we're gonna go from F to G7. That way we can practice that pivot a little bit. So we'll start with, actually we're gonna take a step back for a little bit. We're gonna go from F to G real quick. So F chord to G chord. That way we can kind of feel the difference between the G7 and the G chord. So here's our F chord again, bunny fingers, pointer on first fret of the E string, middle finger on second fret of the G string. So we're gonna about 1, 2, F chord, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you'll have to pick up your fingers again for G. Ready, change. One more time. 5, 6, back to F, go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, back to G and go. 5, 6, back to F one more time, go. 5, 6, back to G one more time. 5, 6, 7. We'll pause right here. Okay, now we're gonna start with F again. We're gonna go to the G7. So again, to pivot from F to G, you're gonna keep your pointer finger on there. Move that second finger down. So again, it's just one string over from the G string to the C string. And then you're going to plant your third finger on the A string, second fret there. Again, you can kind of tell that difference. So again, we're going to go 8. So remember, move 2, add 3. Ready, G7, go. 5, subtract 3, move 2, ready, go. F. Back to G, move 2, add 3, ready, go. G7, I should have said. And then we're going to pause right there. So now what we're going to do, we're going to switch to 4 strums per chord. We're going to go C 4 times, F 4 times, and G 4 times, just so that way we can get into the groove of it. Okay, so one more time. C is 3 on 3. Then we're going to move to F. So there's our Chick-fil-A movement, and then we're going to go to G. Now, I'm going to pop the G7 back up on here. That way you have an option. That way you can go, okay, I'd rather look at this chord. I'd rather look at that chord. Let's see. Yeah, I think we're in good shape. You can see everything. Let me know if you can't see anything. Again, I'm kind of monitoring the chat here, make sure that we're all good, and I think we're okay. All right, so C, F, and then I will let you choose the G or the G7, whichever is more comfortable for you. But I will be playing G7 chord. So we'll start this here real quick. So C is 3 on 3. 1, 2, ready, go. C. And again, you can join me whenever you're comfortable. I went more than 4, that's okay. 1, 2, switch to F and go. Here comes G7 or G. We're going to go back to C. Ready, go. C, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Apparently I can't count today. Happy Friday, y'all. I haven't had enough coffee. We're going to try that one more time. And to be quite honest, the last time I taught this class was more than a year ago. It was when pandemic was starting to hit. So I think it was last April. I'm a little rusty. But anyway, let's do 8 because I'm apparently used to 8 chords. So we'll do 8 chords per, 8 strums per chord here. So start off with C one more time. 1, 2, C, and go. Here comes F, 5, 6, switch to F and go. Now G or G7, ready, go. Back to C, ready, go. 5, 6, back to F, ready, go. 5, 6, switch to G or G7. 5, 6, 7, and we'll end on a C chord right there. Awesome. So there are 4 chords that you may see in a lot of ukulele music. The last one we're going to take a look at today is the A minor. The reason why I saved that is because it's another 1-finger chord, and we can easily just go back and forth with that. So we're going to switch from C, or from C. Now, on the F chord, we're going to actually start off with the F chord there. The easiest way to form A, start off with your F, take your pointer finger off. So get your bunny fingers and then take your finger 2 off, or finger 1 off, excuse me. Now, remember how we said that there might be some letters here. This is lowercase m. So again, this kind of sounds sad. So we consider this a minor chord. That's why we have a lowercase m there. Versus a major. Now, if a chord is major, you're not going to see the capital M unless you're switching back and forth a lot to minor and major chords. But again, that's a rarity. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to practice going back and forth between the F and the A, and then that'll give us about 10, 15-ish minutes. We're going to go through some of these songs. And again, because the songs share chords, you can absolutely play these outside of this class as well. So let's go ahead. Let's move on here. So F, start off with your F, and we'll go to A. So it's just removing and putting that finger back on. So 1, 2, ready, go. A minor. Oh, sorry, we're going to start with F. I just said that. 1, start with F. 2, ready, go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Switch to A, ready, go. Take that pointer finger off. 4, 5, 6. Switch to F, back to F. And now 3, 4, 5, 6. Switch to A minor, ready, go. Pointer finger off. There you go. And then we'll go ahead and pause it right there. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to our songs here. So there are going to be some other things on these songs that you have not seen before, that we haven't covered in this class, and that's totally fine. I keep hitting the wrong thing. Oops. There we go. That's what I want. So the first one we're going to take a look at is Mary Had a Little Lamb. Now, earlier we worked on switching back and forth between our C and our G chord, which is what we have here in the song. Move that down just a little bit. Now, sometimes you may see music that has the notes and the staff on here. Sometimes you may not. I basically just recycled this from our piano class, which is going to be coming up later on YouTube. I can't remember if it's next month or October. It's one of those months. So if you want to learn join us for our piano class, that'll be coming up September or October. So generally what you'll see is you'll have the lyrics to the words, and then lyrics to the song, and then the chords that go on top. Now, what a lot of people like to do at first are strum every syllable. So, Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. So we could do that, or what we could do is strum every other syllable. So Mary had a little lamb. So basically, pick or choose what you want to do. I want to strum every single beat to kind of help you out in case that's what you want to do. And again, we go back and forth between C and G here. So we start off with the C chord, 3 on 3. We move to our sandwich chord on the first little lamb and go back to C on little lamb. Ooh, sorry about that. And then we have right here the C again. Now, this is just for courtesy. That doesn't mean we're going to replay that C right there. That just means that, hey, we're still on C, so keep that in mind. And then on fleece, we're going to switch back to the G, and then on the word snow, we'll go back to C. We'll end up one strum on our C chord. So it's going to sound like this. Mary had a little lamb, G chord, little lamb, back to C, little lamb, stay on C. Mary had a little G, fleece was white, back to C, snow. So that's how we would play Mary Had a Little Lamb, or at least a version of it. Okay, so we're going to slow that down just a little bit. About that speed right there, kind of give you a chance to pick up your G and then move to C and then back to G and everything like that. If you need to, because on the first lamb, we've got that half note that indicates 2 beats. If you just want to go little lamb, little lamb, if you just want to strum that to get your fingers ready to go to change, that's totally fine. Okay, so again, slow it down just a pinch. Start on our C chord. 1, 2, here we go. Mary had a little lamb. Here comes the G chord. Little lamb. Back to C. Little lamb. Stay on your C chord. Mary had a little lamb. Back to G. Fleece was white as snow. Okay, so we'll do that one more time. This time I'm not going to help you out. So you're going to switch on your own, okay? About same speed. 1, 2, here we go. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. That's an example of how you'd play Mary Had a Little Lamb. Again, if you have questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat over here if you're watching live, or you can drop them in the comments down below if you're watching the replay. You can type in hashtag replay. That way I know that you watched the replay. Now you have any questions from the class. Okay. Next one that we're going to move on to is Row, Row, Row Your Boat. Now, if you notice, kind of needed to add one more chord here. I forgot to add a C chord. So we're going to end on a C chord. This is how Row, Row, Row Your Boat's going to go. Again, probably one of the easiest songs that we'll play because we only switch twice. So row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. So again, you only play that G chord like twice there. Life is but a, and then we switch back to the C right there. Okay, again, we'll slow that down. Join me when you're comfortable. We'll go through this twice. 1, 2, here we go. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. And let's do that one more time. Again, stay on your C chord right there. 1, 2, here we go. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Hey, so now just within like the last 7, 8-ish minutes, you've gone through 2 songs already. So that is awesome. All right. Next one, again, we're going to use C and the G chord. We're going to switch back and forth. London Bridge. Now we're going to start with that C, move to G. This is almost a lot like Mary Had a Little Lamb. In fact, if we take a look at it, it is practically the same thing with the chord placement. So we're going to try it, start off together here. We're going to go through this twice and then move on to Twinkle here. So about 1, 2, ready, C. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. I'm going to keep strong. We're going to try that one more time just so you can kind of get the hang of it there. Okay, look about 1, 2, here we go. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. You could do 2 strums there at the end. Lady, if you wanted to, but it just depends on how you want to play it, and how you play it is totally fine. Well, might play it a little bit differently. Now, last song that we're going to cover today, we're going to actually add in our F chord. I almost said the C chord. We've been playing that this whole time. Now, this is where we've got a lot of Chick-fil-A chords. So CF, CF, C, G, C. CF, C, G, and things like that. If you notice here, now here's what's going to make the song kind of easy. The first line right here, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. It's the same thing as the third line down here. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. So once we get the first row right here done of the first twinkle, twinkle, little star, we've already learned more than half the song. Then, here's the cool thing. Up above the world so high is the same thing as like a diamond in the sky. So once we learn up to here, up above the world so high, we've learned half the song, okay? So, more than half the song. So let's go through here. We're gonna go through our chords real quick. I'm gonna slow it down just a little bit, and then when we play through together, we'll pick it up a little bit. So slowly first, that way you can kind of get the hang of it, and then we'll gradually slow it up. So we'll play this probably 3 times. So about 1, 2, C chord, ready, go. Twinkle, twinkle, here comes the F chord, little, back to C, F, how, I, back to C, to the G, what you are, C, up, back to F, back to C, it's world, so to the G, back to C, F chord, C to G, C, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Okay, so let's go through that one more time. Now that you kind of got a little bit of the hang of it. And then we'll speed it up just a pinch. Okay, so back on your C. 1, 2, ready, go. C chord, F chord, C, back to F. How I wonder, G, what you are. C, up a F chord, C to G, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. All right, so I'm not going to give directions this time. I'm just going to strum and sing it, and then we're going to speed it up just a pinch. So let's go ahead and try that here real quick. About this speed right here. Hey, 1, 2, here we go. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Kind of jumped the gun a little bit there. Oops. That's okay. All right. So you can go ahead and give yourself a little bit of a break. I'm gonna put my ukulele down there. I want to talk about some information here about lessons here at our studio. So if you do want to continue, I forgot to change the logo. That's okay. We do have both in-person and online lessons available. For kids younger than 18, we are on an online platform that you can enroll through us. You can message us for any open times that we have. And then if you are here in the Wichita metro area, you can certainly contact us to get your free trial lesson started. So this is for our, through our studio, rates are different for our online platform, but we do have limited availability here in the studio. If you come directly to us, rates are $28 per week or $100 a month. Then we'll send your lessons and assignments electronically, and then you also get to participate virtually into any of our concerts that we hold as well. So that does bring us to the end. We do have a couple events that are coming up as well that I'm going to go ahead and hide that screen here. Let me come in. That's not what I want. Let's see here. we're actually done with that. I can't do that. Okay, so we do have a couple of events coming up. In fact, I'm going to see if I can pop these up on Facebook here real quick. The first one that is confirmed is going to be our holiday ukulele class. That's going to be here in the studio. We do have limited availability. I can actually type this. Okay, we're going to do it this way. Our family holiday ukulele class, that's going to be middle of November to middle of December. We'll teach holiday classics like Joy to the World, Deck the Hall, Jingle Bells, Feliz Navidad, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree, and things like that, and teach the songs, kind of go through the basics of playing and reading, kind of like what we did today. Let me see if I can pull that up here real quick on our Facebook channel. There it is. Found it. Okay, let me get this pulled up here. That way we can show y'all. We're going to share that. Perfect. All right. And I'm just going to come down here. So this first one here, our holiday family ukulele class, that's going to start Monday, November 8th. We're going to go from 6:30 to about 7:30. That runs to the first 2 weeks in December. So that's way before Christmas. So that might be a good early Christmas present for someone if you wanted to. And then we are also, let's see, is that on here? So we haven't published this yet. But our Spooks and Spirits Sip and Strum adult ukulele class, so that's for adult beginners. We do allow adult beverages for that class, so you can bring in your spirits, and we'll play some spooky sounding Halloween music. We're getting that sorted today. Actually, we're going to get that picked, and then right now we're looking at Friday, October 29th at 7 p.m. for that. Tickets will be available here shortly. So that is going to bring us to the end of our class today. We thank you so much for joining us. Again, if you are watching the replay and you have any questions, do feel free to drop them down in the comments down there, and we'll be sure to answer those for you. So again, thank you so much for joining us. We do look forward to having you for our live class next month. In fact, I can bring that up right now. Our next live class here on YouTube is going to be the piano class. No, drumming. Drumming's next month. Never mind. Beginning drum set class is going to be Friday, September 10th at 12 p.m. So we will actually be over here in our drum room, which is out of the view of the camera. And we'll be talking about playing different like basic grooves and identifying instruments on the drum set and things like that. Then our next one in October is going to be piano, and then our last one for the fall semester is going to be guitar on November 5th. So again, hope to see you on September 10th for our drumming class, and as of course our social media channels as well, Instagram Live, Facebook Live. We're also working on TikTok. We've got 200 followers on TikTok, so feel free to follow us and like and share our videos on TikTok as well. So that's going to be the end of our broadcast for today. Again, thank you so much for joining us, and hope to see you for our next live streams. We'll see you later.